Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today we will be discussing about one of the most burning questions that have been going in my mind every single time I hear about a startup funding or the huge amount of money VCs are pouring into startups. You all may be wondering why? Why do these startups get valued so high when they're not making profit? When they're not even making the profit of the Kirana store next to me, the Kirana store is not getting valued at even 10 lakhs, and why these type of startups are getting valued at thousands of crores? And this question was haunting me for a long time, and today, and for once and for all, we are trying to find a solution for it. I have gone through many things to find and conceptualize this, and I am sharing this with you so you don't need to run behind it. So let's get into the video and understand how startup funding works and why VCs are not a fool to pour in billions of dollars into startup funding and gain back even bigger than that. Let's understand completely. So when we start this discussion, the first story I want to talk to you about this VC funding is actually for VCs, profit is boring. Profit is boring in the sense for normal traditional businesses, profit is their lifeline. That is the way they make money to sustain forward and move forward in their journey. But for VCs as investors, getting profit out of the startup investment they have done is so boring because just for an example, we'll assume that this startup is making around 1 million profit every single year after the taxes and all the deductions and the amount they are going to get for this 15% they have invested. And also most of the time startups do not share out all the profits because already they are in a cash crunch and they need money to reinvest and move forward. So the amount finally they are going to get is so less that even if they get this amount for next 10 years, then only they will be even able to recoup their investment. So it's not a wise investment at all. So that's the basic reason behind why startup funding is so boring in terms of profits. They cannot conceptualize getting all of their money back or getting worth of their money back in getting profits. So that's the reason profits are not even cared by venture capitalists. And also with just 15% in hand, VCs really do not have much say in the board. So even if the business is going in a wrong way or they want to get more profits out of the business, there is no real say of the VC in the business because they have just 15%. That might be just one seat in the board. So it's not a very sexy business for them to get into. So that's the reason they do not think about profits, but they think about something very different. And that's what we are going to discuss now. You take up traditional businesses, say for example we take a restaurant business. Restaurant business is run entirely at the aim of getting profits. So a traditional business owner, any person traditionally who's doing business, if they are planning to invest in startup, this do not work because they need more stake in the business for what they're investing. So if they are investing $1 million into startup, they expect maybe around 50 or 60% of the startup because that is how traditional businesses are valued, and that's how this game has been played on for several years by them, because they are thinking if I invest 1 million, if I need to get back profits and cover up my investment and make a profit on my investment, I really need at least 50% to sustain. But VCs don't do that because they are playing an entirely different ball game, and that's how they are able to completely cut out the profit part, and they don't even care about profit, let alone like even the profit being the priority for them. Even if they make profit, that's just a couple of change for them. So in point of view of VC, there is three types of value that they see in a startup. They are going to see, one is called acquire hires. Acquire hires means acquiring to hire, and next will be strategic exit, and the third one would be IPO. So IPO is very common to all people and they know about that much more, but the other two I want to just specifically tell about is how acquire hires works. Acquire hires is a system where a company, already an established brand in this space, they want to get hiring for provident. They want to hire very, very efficient engineers and people who are building products that they want to get hold of. So maybe now, for example, if you take any of the brands who is going to hire a company, if they need to hire engineers and build up a new startup, let's say a delivery app, they want to build a delivery app from root up, and they want to get a new set of engineers for some specific part of the delivery app. It's really hard to get good quality engineers and who are thinking about from a business point of view and building something. It's really hard, and you don't know amount of effort a company needs to put in to get good hires, and especially the amount of money they need to spend in that. So this one part of startup is really interesting because most of the time startups are started by people who are already very enriched in their knowledge about the space. So all the engineers who are going to start a startup would be quite naturally really good team, and they are working together as a team. Already they have built a lot of things from the scratch, and this becomes a very attractive proposition for some other company. So that company, by acquiring this startup, they are getting their engineers, they are getting their product, they are getting their expertise, they are getting all the patents and setups they have done for this business, and completely can integrate that into their business. That is very crucial part of a startup funding, and how venture capitalist is planning to exit. So that becomes very interesting, right? So once this type of an hiring or acquiring happens, then this company is going to pay a huge amount to this startup to acquire them, and this huge amount would be maybe 10 times the initial investment VCs have done. Because if the startup is successful, then only these things happen. There is cases of lot of startups failing, but I am talking about only the startups which is becoming successful in either of these categories. Either there should be a acquirers, or there should be strategic exit, or there should be successful enough to go for IPO. Any of these things should happen for a VC to make money. But naturally, maybe if they invest in 10 companies, one of them becomes success. But the surprising fact is, because of the huge run up that these startups give in valuation, these companies get a lot of money with the one successful one. Maybe 10x, 20x, 30x their money they are getting back. So the benefit is, once they get money from this one company, the other 9 pieces which are becoming failed also is getting covered in that cost, right? So that is how startup funding works, and why venture capitalists is not thinking about profits directly. And the next way is strategic exit, and that is where, like, if I would say Meta acquiring Instagram, you will be thinking that time back in the day when Meta took up Instagram for such a big amount, all around the world, it was so evident that people were thinking Facebook has gone crazy to pay this amount. Just for a company with very less number of employees, only 10 or 12 employees, they are paying around $1 billion. So that's very huge amount. But why Facebook was ready to do that is because they want the strategic partnership or strategic value of Instagram to Meta. And why Instagram is valuable to Meta? Because it had a user base. User base was the value proposition. There the engineer or engineering team was not the real value, but the user base and the app that developed this user base is the value proposition. And Meta wanted that to be part of Facebook, and that made Facebook a lot of money. Now if you think, Instagram is one of the biggest players of the Facebook company, and how Facebook is benefiting from this investment in Instagram is really, really big. So that type of thought is what works in every company. Whenever they want a strategic partnership with any other startup, or maybe they are seeing a value proposition in them that we can use in our company, then this game gets very interesting, and they are ready to pay huge amount of money just to get that partnership. And there is different partnerships. So now if you think, first one I have said is, they are hiring for engineers, they are hiring for the team, they are hiring for the talent. That's the first one. Why outside company wants to hire take over a startup. The second one is for the strategic proposition, like Instagram is having user base. Now there was a company called Morning Brew. Morning Brew is like a newsletter company, and a Business Insider bought Morning Brew for around $75 million. Just a newsletter bought for $75 million is really absurd. But what did Business Insider see in them? They saw the value of their user base. The user base was huge, and Business Insider knew this 75 million could turn into a bigger amount for them if they got these users in their hands. So users are a big player, or if the app and the system is really good, or there is a delivery network, or there is a network of stores you have, like maybe the startup, they are having a lot of store connections and business foundations, supply network, something they have. Maybe this is the thing that other company sees very interesting in this company and is ready to invest the money. So that is exactly what we are discussing here. Anytime a venture capitalist is investing money, they are trying to see what is really special in this company that other companies are not having. So this specialty factor they know will sell. They know this specialty factor will help them reach some other company or get some strategic hiring, or strategic partnership and get a lot of money out of that. And that is the very interesting part. Whenever you see any startups getting funding or startups becoming big, you always see it is something new. We always think about startup as something new. We don't think startup as a traditional business, because why? Traditional businesses are generally very, very similar to each other. Now, there may be kirana stores, there may be restaurants or hospitals or any type of basic businesses that is common. There is so many players in the market, but in terms of startups, mostly we see there is something different. There is some elements of difference in each startup that is making them exciting, and that is the specialty of startup. Startup is not focusing on getting the profit right now, but to develop a product or a team that is so attractive that some other bigger player in the market will be ready to pay a lot of money to avoid the hassle of building this team or this product and getting a lot of money. And that's where venture capitalists make a lot of money, and venture capitalists really know this game inside out. And that's the reason, even when startups are burning lakhs and lakhs of crores of rupees, they stay calm. They do not care about the losses and all these offers given by startups, because they know at the end of the day someone is going to pay this money and take us home. But all the startups and startup funding do not work perfectly. There is a lot of missed cases. People expect these startups will go up high, they will become successful, but at the end of the day maybe it do not turn out that way. The team gets split up and the people loses their interest, or they change their attitudes, and the idea itself may be becoming expired for the situations of the market, or people do not accept it in the way it should be. So many things happen that prevents it from happening. But once that one case happens success, it brings a lot of money to just give a lot of headroom for the investors to put into next 10 projects. So that's how this cycle continues, and on and on. The founders, they make a lot of money, the investors, they also make a lot of money, and this bigger company who is acquiring them, they are going to make even more money in the future, because they have enough and other capital to support this business to make it even bigger. So they are not fools to pay a huge amount just to buy it out and then they will fail. No, they are planning it out in such a way that that money invested is going to bring them maybe 10x of what they have invested. So at the end, everything plays out successfully if the startup idea is good, if the management is good, if the systems have been put in place in a right way, then everything is becoming successful. So that is the interesting story of how VC funding works. I hope you liked it. It was really, really tough for me to go through and find out why the system works in the way it should be. But it's really interesting, and I hope you learned something new and interesting today. If you liked it, do smash that like button to make the YouTube algorithm happy and to promote these videos to more people. And do subscribe if you didn't, and also share it with your friends. So until next time, it's a bye from me. Bye for now.